Hey guys.
Hey guys, so sister snapped.
Wait, we're okay, Martini.
Yeah, we're okay, Martini, and sister snapped, dude.
We're just getting right into it right now. It's Sarah and Sophia, you know, the usual. You guys know the deal with this. We have but we do have a new follower after all of this has happened, so hey you, whoever you are, we appreciate you.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. But sorry, you were saying sister snapped.
Yeah, sister snapped. So basically, this whole like James Charles drama, we uploaded our episode on that like yesterday. Well,
Yesterday or Sunday night actually.
And then more.
Yesterday was Sunday. Sorry.
Yeah, more stuff came out, so we're gonna talk about. Do you want to start?
Yeah, well, basically, as I mentioned in the last video, the only reason I'm into this is because Sophia didn't drag me into it. More like Sophia just made me aware of things that were happening, and I think also because I asked.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I asked. I drag myself into the situations and blame it on other people because I'm a responsible adult. But yeah, I don't know. Did you watch all of James Charles' video?
Yes. I finished.
I mean, so okay. Do you want to just like give like a brief outline of the video, and then we can just like give our opinions as we go through it and shit. And
yeah, okay. So James made a video like 2 days ago, I think, or a day ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he just talked about, like, he debunked basically every single thing that Tati said in her video with the receipts. Mm-hmm. So he was like, yeah, that was true, but she left out a lot of details. Or like, yeah, but I did promote her product. She said I didn't, but I actually did promote it. And he had receipts for that too, like videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Chats and stuff like that. So basically, he had all this proof, and and at the beginning he said like, I don't want to, like, everything Tati said in the video, like, I respect her, whatever, like, I respect Jeffree, or something like that. He just said, like, he respects her, but then he started debunking every single thing that they said, and stuff like with the guy, the waiter, Sam, that he also made a video about him. He debunked that, and basically that's kind of the premise.
Yeah, so that's just like and I will say that honestly, I was not expecting to respect James Charles.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to him at all, but something about him has always like made me want to like hit him whenever I've heard him speak. I just see his face like, hey sisters, it's like, just take your fucking overbite and get out of my face. Sorry, that's really mean, but you know, but I was actually like really surprised. I was like 7 minutes into the video. It was like what, like a 20-minute video or something? Longer?
James's, it was like 40 minutes.
Oh, okay, so it was a long video. I don't know why I said a 20-minute video. But it was like 7 minutes in, and I was like, oh, he's, you know, this seems like really genuine and serious, and he seemed overall kind of mature to me, and I was pretty, like, impressed, like, watching the video. I was like, oh, like, he has proof for everything. And, like, in our notes, I actually wrote in all caps, all the damn receipts. He literally had something to back up every single thing that he said.
Exactly, yeah.
And I was like, my mind was blown. And I was just like, what was Tati on about? And a lot of the stuff he said that they were present. They knew. There was this one screenshot where the waiter that you mentioned, that James Charles was interested in, and Tati was like, oh, you talked in detail about what you were going to do to the waiter, blah, blah, blah. And he said, oh, he's going to fly out to LA or something. And Tati's like, oh, you're supposed to hook up with the waiter, not marry him. So she knew that the waiter wasn't totally straight, that he was at least bi or bi-curious, you know?
Yeah, and he was, and that's what he said to him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like James even showed screenshots where he had said I'm bi and stuff. And he showed parts of the video and like in the video he says, "Yeah, we made out. He asked me if we want to kiss and I
I
said
said
yes." So it
yes.
was
Yeah.
totally consensual. You know, that's just like that's totally consensual. And then I made a point of this just because it was so ridiculous, but it was like he was like, "Oh, James Charles is like the worst kisser I've ever had." And then James Charles goes like, "No, take it."
Literally, like, what was the point?
Honestly, it was so dumb. I was like, "Why are you mentioning this? Like in the grand scheme of things, like what this meant to be like an expose James Charles video about how he's not a good person. What does him
What does it
being a bad
matter?
kisser have anything? It reminded me of there's this like Vine by Casey Frey that's like, "What's up, babe?" And this girl goes like, "Gross." And he goes, "Psh, you can't handle my dick." And he starts crying. He's like, "You can't handle it, bitch." And it just reminded me of that. Like, you know, when you like reject a guy
Yeah.
and they go like, you know,
Yeah,
says
well,
if
you're
like,
ugly
"Oh, like I didn't
anyway.
like you." Anyways, yeah, it's like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
fat whore." And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
well, dude, what is this, you know?
Yeah, I never liked you
But
anyway. Like, okay.
yeah, I never liked you anyways, Brittany, you know. Um but yeah, but like the thing about James' video is it brought me to a point and it was like, why did these people lie about these like certain things when there was so much proof? Like I saw on Twitter, I started a new Twitter again, like let's see how long it takes before I forget the password to this one. But it was like someone was saying, "Oh, look, James Charles edited his screenshots. Look at the timeline differences. Like it says, like this one says like May 2nd or something, and over here the end of the message like ends with May 2nd. Like how does this happen?" And James Charles responded saying, "I took some of the screenshots while I was in Australia and some of them while I was in LA, and I explained that in my video." And he also said, "Why would I lie about something and fabricate it when other people can come forward with the real deal?" And I was
Exactly.
like, that's such a good point. Like, and it was like, okay, like like he's dealing with this maturely.
Yeah. Like, if,
Yeah.
exactly, like, if Tati knew that he had all this stuff, and, like, she knew that that was the I'm famous is an inside joke and all this stuff, why would she say that when it's so easily proven wrong, you know?
Exactly. And that kind of like I was thinking like while I was watching like Jeffree's video too, but I was kind of like it's strange to me that people were lying about these when there was like so much proof. And it was like they all of a sudden they started coincidentally like just wanting to take things private, you know,
Yeah.
and it just made Tati's video like to me just feel like sort of a publicity stunt to deal with the fact that James Charles was partnering with her um competitors. And then the video she made saying I wasn't expecting this to get this blown up, probably like she genuinely meant that, like I did not expect this to be made this big a deal out of. But I that just made me feel like maybe Tati was doing this to, you know, be like, "Oh, well, he's partnered with my competitors now. He's betrayed my trust," and then made some like pretty serious allegations against him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know that it made her upset and shit, but
Hmm.
it's just wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't. I mean,
Like,
you
I
can.
get it, it's upsetting.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
No, 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 no.
I get
Go
it,
on. I
it's
didn't know what I was
upsetting
saying, anyways. Yeah.
when you like help someone for such a long time, and like she said, like her and her husband like gave him legal advice, helped him like with like starting out, you know, all that stuff, and it's they
Yeah.
betray you. Okay, I understand.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very upsetting.
Yeah, like
But
the whole thing with.
lying
Yeah.
is just
Exactly, exactly. Like the whole thing with the Coachella and like the tickets. Okay, it seemed like, I mean, that was the truth. The fact that he was being mobbed in the VIP area and this artist tickets thing. I don't really know how Coachella works, so I'm just gonna take their word for him. But the thing is, when uh, you know that the only way you can get through is to like reach out to your one of your friend's competitors, like he was saying that I was in such a panic, like then maybe don't go. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
you know? like to me it just didn't seem reasonable enough. Like I was getting mobbed. Like okay, yeah, it must be terrifying. I've never experienced that. It must be really scary. But like he texted someone and then he just like instantly made like a really quick brand deal, sort of like it's still like that to me. It still like seemed wrong, nonetheless.
No, of course. And like,
Yeah.
or like like he knows how like famous he is in terms of like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
YouTube influencers like sphere. Bring
Mhm.
security with you. You know,
Mhm.
like you know how famous you are. You know what I mean? Like if you
Exactly.
go to a convention, you won't be allowed to just walk around there. Like you'll have to go like through the back because
Yeah.
that's what
Like he's
happens.
an Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's an international celebrity, and there's no denying it. Like Tati said in her video, that all in all, like everything together, he has 30 million like followers and fans, like on all his platforms put together. Like he has even more um like subscribers and followers than like Tati does, and she's been around way longer than him. And like yes, you can say that he's like a young kid who's suddenly been exposed to like this world where he can like pretty much like do everything that he wants. He's a 19-year-old millionaire running a business, Of course like it will have an effect on him, and something he said in the video that like to me it felt like really mature of him to like own up, to the fact that he isn't mature, or that like certain way that he acts is like wrong, and like it shows that maybe he didn't uh develop well socially in like certain areas and whatnot. And I was like, oh well, it takes a lot for a person to admit their shortcomings, like it takes a lot for someone to admit that they were wrong and like their behavior was incorrect. And he said something in that video, which I mean, I don't know exactly like how related it is. I mean, and I guess in a way it's an excuse. Like I don't think people should excuse their behaviors, but there are like certain things in real life that like really do affect you as a person. And one thing he talked about was the fact that well, he was 12 when he came out, and he was saying that he was sort of never exposed to he was more interested in finding out who he is as like a person in terms of his interests, because he was never sort of exposed to that people like starting to date other like kids, or having their first kiss in the playground and stuff like that. And that's something I really related to. Like even though I'm bi, I'm like more inclined to girls, and like I was only 14 when I like properly realized like, oh, like bisexuality is like a thing. And that really like affects you because you're sort of in this world where everyone is doing the opposite of what you want to do, you know? And that really does like I feel like affect a person, like not having those like natural, parts of like every person's like growing up. Like when you go through puberty, you have your crushes, you have like, your kisses and whatnot. And just like not being able to experience that with girls for me, like growing up, was I feel like it sort of also affected me as well, like in different ways. Like I feel like I only sort of like started developing better as a person once I came out to my mom and stuff like that. But that's something like that I understood him saying that affected him. But again, like it was, if anyone wants to say that this him just like excusing himself or whatever, I feel like at least he knows that he was in the wrong in some of the things.
Yeah, he's aware. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I just went off on a fucking monologue, but I just felt like that was like an important thing to share. And then what happened? And then Jeffree Star fucking got involved.
yeah. He was like he got involved from like the beginning when
Mm,
Teddy posted a video. Like he would post like shady, like he would tweet shady stuff. Like he would be like, "Oh,
yeah,
congratulations to my girl Tati on hitting 7 million," and then the next day it's like, or the next few hours, like, "Oops, sorry, my
yeah,
mistake. 8 million. Congratulations, Tati." I was like, "Oops, no, like I must have been high yesterday. I meant 9 million." Like every million to
yeah,
like kind of troll, like you know,
yeah. It was like a very obvious
yeah,
mocking of James Charles. Like, oh, eat ass. She's profiting off of your demise, pretty
exactly,
much.
and
And like, I mean, like, what happened with him? Like, how did he pull himself in?
basically he he said that there was some stuff that happened. Well, he didn't say that, but he alluded to the fact. Also, James showed these texts in his video that
Mm-hmm.
James hit on Zach, who is Jeffree Star's boyfriend's brother, who's
Yeah.
straight, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I guess Nate felt uncomfortable and didn't want James coming over anymore because Zach is the one that films for Jeffree, like
Yeah.
his, yeah, like Nate's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Nate was just, I mean, Derek Jeffrey was like, yeah, this is why Nate banned you from our house. This is why I haven't seen him since February, even though people found that he tweeted and like texted James like privately, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
even in
like,
May, like
yeah.
before Tati's video came out, they texted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there was this thing that James said in his video is that Jeffree Star was the one who initiated the thing about his boyfriend's brother.
Yeah,
Like in the video, he was like, "Oh, like Nate's brother is in town." And he was like, "He's right up your alley. He's straight. You should go for it or whatever." And he was saying it like I don't know. That was kind of weird to me. You're also sort of mocking this thing, even if he wasn't actually gonna go for it and you guys were just joking around, you're still adding to the problem by joking about it and making it more casual. Like James saying that he would like never go for this like for straight guys and whatever, but still is this really it's really gross. There is this really, really strong a fetish
yeah,
in like the male gay community. Yeah.
but they always like James always jokes about that though. Like
Yeah, yeah, like most like
either he was
yeah.
making a joke or it was just like that, you know?
Yeah.
It was just
Like I mean some of like my gay friends like they joke of like I know that they would definitely of course like never force themselves or anything onto like a straight guy or whatever. But it is sort of like memed and fetishized in a sort of like funny way, you know? And I feel like that's also like adding to the problem that like sometimes like gay men can be seen as like predatory and stuff like that, which James even says in his video, but that still kind of goes against what the whole thing about this actually being like a thing in the community. Like there's so many gay meme pages that had been memeing about this like ever since like I'd been following them, like it's just been like a really common thing.
yeah.
Mm. But yeah, and then he says something about Jeffrey having made like a video where he also says that he was also interested in straight guys for a very long time too.
Well,
And so I just found that hypocritical.
because Jeffrey's boyfriend Nate, he has only been with women before Jeffrey, so he is a
Yeah.
straight. He or was a straight guy until he met
Yeah.
Jeffrey, and yeah,
Yeah.
Jeffrey said that he's been with straight men that weren't out or that had like families, you know what I mean, or were married and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that he was like, "Oh, I was tired of being like always hidden like and if there was anything between us." And that really is like a hard thing sort of like, "Oh, this is, I'm sort of just going to use you, but I don't want society's pressure on me." Which is kind of like a thing. Like I mean I'd say like for queer girls most of the time it's just like the fact that straight girls are like, "Oh, I think I might be bi-curious," and then they just like sort of like fool around with you enough and like don't really care if it's public or not and then just end up kind of like ditching the whole thing. But it's like it's still like a shitty feeling, but I don't know, it's just like a lot of drama. And then there was also the thing about Tati's vitamins, which you mentioned that he like posted on his like YouTube and like Snapchat and shit. He had done that, and he even showed like a video where Tati was in it, and he like mentioned, and they mentioned the vitamins, like the Halo vitamins, and all I could think is like, why did Tati say that he never ever like brought up anything about her like products and like it's just I don't know, the whole thing just feels so bizarre and like so much like sketchier than it actually is. I feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, she said that like he would refuse to promote it like heavily. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was just like, "Oh, I bought this. Like, this is my friend Tati's brand," or like, oh, we're going to Tati's launch party today. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I mean, he never made like a kind of a review. I guess maybe that's what she wanted. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
But
is
I mean,
fair
he
enough.
did say stuff like, "Oh, like, dude, check it out" and stuff. And like another point, he was like, "Oh, like, I bought her like new thing, but I didn't tell her because like I wanted to pay for it and like
Yeah,
support
yeah,
her.
yeah.
Like, you guys should check it out." And I was like, "That's still like really like great that he was still like sort of." Not endorsing her in like the brand way, but like still like saying like, oh, like this is like my friend, like I do like her product, and
Yeah,
like
being
maybe it wasn't
supportive.
as
Yeah, he was
businessy
being
as
supportive.
yeah, maybe it wasn't as businessy as Tati maybe wanted it to be, like in terms of like contracty or whatnot. But it was still done, so I still don't feel like it was right for her to say that he'd never like done anything for her. Sure, you may have never asked, and then when you did ask, he said no. But then like his response about it, like his audience being teenagers, but then still doing the
Yeah,
sugar bear hair thing, is a little weird
that
to me.
that's bad because he related it to anxiety, which a lot of people deal with right now, especially like
Yeah, yeah,
teenagers. So of
exactly.
course they're more inclined to trust him first of all because they relate to him, and then to go and buy these these gummies, you know.
Yeah, yeah, because like I mean, as much as nowadays like the stigma towards mental health is being decreased, there's still like this huge stigma towards it. So like for kids and like teens and stuff who are like dealing with this kind of stuff, if they can find like an easier way that doesn't involve like maybe going to the doctor or whatever or having to confront their parents, they'd be like, "Oh, this is definitely going to be like an easier way for me." And plus this person that like is like a role model to me is using this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there's also that thing you said today about like role models.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to share it?
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
people like fuck up on YouTube or wherever, and like
Yeah.
their fans or their like supporters are like like I looked up to you. You were my role model. How could you do this? Like, I'm sorry. Like I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be an influencer or whatever, but like
Yeah.
these people didn't sign up to be role models.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like you're a public figure. You're not the president.
Yeah, or even like you're not a self-claimed role model. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
long time, like a very long time ago, this YouTuber, I don't remember who, but this was like probably like 3 years ago now, said this,
Yeah.
and it really stuck with me. Like someone was like, you were my role model, and now you did this," and they were like, um, "I never signed up to be a role model. I'm just a person making
Yeah.
making videos on YouTube. I'm an ordinary
Yeah.
person making videos. I never signed up to be a role model to like a million kids, you know?"
Yeah. And that's like a crazy thing to think about. I feel like even you and me, like when it comes to like public figures, it's like in the end they're just people who wanted to follow something they were passionate about, and that involved them becoming like coming into the public eye, and that sort of opened them to this world of public criticism that they no one wants to be like a part of criticism, especially when it's like from millions of people. Like losing 2 million followers is a huge, like 3 million, but he's back at 14 million now. It's a huge statement. It's like it's a massive fuck you, you know? Cuz like it's your livelihood essentially. And that's just like one thing, like to us it's just like somewhere we're watching, on the internet, and that's what they are to us, but they're just like other people, and that's just what they do. That's literally, it's their job.
Yeah.
They're getting paid to do this, and they have to like put in work. It may seem like the easiest thing, but like these people, like they have such busy schedules, and it's like insane, like the amount of like like, and one thing is like James Charles, like he has like a business too, like that's one thing that they have to like take in mind. Not only like is he has to do like does he have to do all these like public events and like like YouTube videos and shit. He also has like a business to attend, to like tend to. And that's so crazy to think about. Like, and he's like 19. And that's like so much shit for one person to take up. And also, like, being a role model for other people when you yourself are young and you need a role model is insane. Like, can you imagine, like, someone right now saying, "You're my role model"? I mean, we have younger siblings, so it's kind of the same
Yeah.
pressure almost, but, well, not the same, but, you
Yeah,
know.
but it's like like 3 kids is the same pressure as 15 million
Yeah, it's
people.
like
No,
15 million.
I get what you mean. Like, and yeah, because he's still a kid. Like, people forget to understand that, like, I make a mistake, who sees it? Like, my close friends and my parents see it.
Exactly.
He makes a mistake,
Yeah.
like, all of his followers and people who don't even follow him, like, more than that, see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so many people, like, know about this stuff.
Like, how many, like, 50 million people watched Tati's video, or like something crazy like that?
Yeah, like a huge amount. It has like over like 2 million or something likes, which is crazy to me. Like that's so many likes on one video.
Yeah.
It's just I don't even know, man.
Oh,
It's
she
just so
deleted it.
insane because like think about it. She deleted the
She's a
video.
goodbye sister.
Oh my god. As we speak?
I don't know. I just wanted to
You
check the
just checked
views.
it?
I just wanted to check how many views it had. Sorry, continue.
Oh
I'm
my
just gonna
god,
go
guys,
circle blade and
gasp!
see.
Sister
No, I
snapped!
just want to see what. I guess maybe after James's video, she deleted it. Why is this so
Maybe.
crazy?
That's insane though. Oh my god, this just adds like a whole. Oh my god, why do you think she deleted it?
Okay.
Because of the stuff James said in his
Or
video?
she maybe privated it because, okay, it doesn't say that her views went down, but because usually when someone deletes a video, the views go down, and like YouTube doesn't like removes those views from the channel.
Ah,
But
okay, yeah.
if she privated it, or
Oh
she
my
just
god.
unlisted it,
Oh, maybe. So you can only watch it with the link.
yeah.
Shit. Does anyone have the link so we can go fucking check? No, I just,
So maybe she
like,
privated
this
it.
is, like, insane. But still, like, the fact that she just, you know,
Removed it, yeah.
hid it from the general public, that's
Yeah, but
huge. That just, like, goes to show that what James was saying in his video
that's
was
true.
right and true, because why would you take, like, this thing that pretty much, like, launched you from 5 million to 10 million subscribers,
Yeah.
you know?
So
This hugely controversial piece that you were so passionate about, that you were like, you know, this is an important matter, and just say, shit, this needs to go out of. And everyone's like messaging James privately and saying, let's take care of this privately. And I actually think the fact that James took it public was really good because he was like, well, you did the same. Why should, like, I now be like, oh, like, let me be the bigger person?
yeah, he had to defend himself because people were coming up
Exactly.
with stories and stuff. Like, you know that story about that high
It
school?
was crazy. Oh my god, the thing about the urinal?
Yeah, like that was
That was
completely made
disgusting.
up. And first of all, it's disgusting because I think you mentioned this in the last video. That means like people who actually had experiences like that and like were hurt by that, they can't come out because
Yeah.
people won't believe them anymore because
Exactly.
that,
It
people
just,
lie about it.
yeah, it just invalidates all of these, like, they're really serious allegations, like we said last time. It's such a serious matter. Not only will it ruin the life of, like, a totally innocent person, but, like, someone who's actually been the victim of this kind of stuff will be like, oh, well, this happened. Like, maybe someone will think that I'm lying, and then they will hold back, and then there will be genuinely bad people in this world who will just be happy and, like, living among other people because, you know, someone ruined it for everyone else. And that's, like, such a serious problem, you know?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just, it's crazy. Like, it's this guy, like, this kind of shit happens privately and it, like, ruins people's families. But this one thing people have to consider is that this is private. You're, like, publicly tarnishing a person's name in front of millions and millions of people. It's,
Exactly.
it's crazy.
Like it doesn't just ruin his like it's not just him losing followers. Like if people believe that, he would lose all his brand deals, all his like his
Exactly.
merch company, like all of his business, he would just lose it because if
Yeah,
those
exactly.
allegations
He
were
just
not confirmed to be fake.
totally.
Yeah, It's crazy.
It's like it's more than just that. And those people who like lied, all I can think is like, why? Like, what did they think they would achieve? Like, even the thing with like Zara Larson,
Yeah.
like she was like, oh, he continuously like messaged my boyfriend and blah blah blah, and then it turns out
It
that
was one
James
time.
Charles only messaged her, yeah, one time. And then James says the thing about like how she ended up finding her boyfriend is she tweeted like this really like gross like tweet that was like, oh, who are you, how old are you, where are you from, where can I find you, and how do you have your eggs in the
Yeah.
morning. Like, that
And
is
then I remember when that
gross.
happened. Like I really remember when that happened, and then like a few months later, she posted like he likes his eggs scrambled. Like I really remember this. Like this was real. Like
Oh my god,
he
that's
likes
just
his eggs scrambled.
that's so hypocritical and rude. And what? Like, who the fuck are you? Like, what is this? Like, it's just like it's almost like everyone's like, oh, this is relevant now, let me get involved in it. No one's been talking about me in a while. This is what it's starting to feel like. And like one person is severely like taking damage from this,
Yeah.
you know? It's insane.
It's
What do
crazy.
Tati's social blade stats say?
Oh, nothing. Like
Or did
she's
you close
well,
it?
like she's losing subscribers, but it doesn't say like she didn't lose any views. But like if she deleted that video,
Okay.
but James is like, for example, his newest video has 30 million views, and his apology has 50 million. So I
Jesus.
think Tati's original video had like 50 to 60 million views.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of
Jesus,
people.
that's like a lot. That's a lot of people who like have seen this
Yeah.
and like, it's I don't even know. It's crazy to think about. Like, to me, like the worst thing is like my like I, I don't like fucking up and my parents finding out. Like, to me that is like one of the worst things, because like I mean I'd get roasted by them, but like, and then there's stuff like this where it's like, oh, like what are like these people like their biggest worry, like this, it's so many people. Like, can you imagine like fucking up and that many people
Yeah.
like witnessing? Like, it's insane. Like, if I trip in a public place, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is probably how Jennifer Lawrence felt at the
Yeah.
Oscars, you know? Whereas, like, it's not even the same thing. Like, half the people probably didn't even notice me. 1% probably only saw me and were like, ha, what a dumbass, you know?
Yeah. Or probably not even thought anything.
Yeah, who were just like, okay, whatever. Like, no one really cares,
Yeah.
because you're just someone else. But when you're a public figure, like, almost everyone knows who you are, you know? It's like, even if they don't know what you're famous for, they at least, like, they know your name.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
That's sorry.
it's,
No,
yeah.
continue. You first.
No, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say it's
and
crazy.
that's what I was like thinking. Like when I was actually telling my friend this. I don't know if I've told you this as well, but I'm just like, imagine like being a celebrity and then dating like a celebrity or like a random person, right? Like they will know so
Hmm.
much about you. Like you have to actually open up to them and tell them shit, and like they know a lot about you. But like I know they have like
Yeah.
non-disclosure agreements and stuff like that. But it's like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're a celebrity, you know what I mean? Like, this
Yeah,
person
dude,
has so
like,
much on you now, kind of. Not like people will think that you're crazy,
exactly.
but like people
Yeah, no, I
like weird
totally
things.
get
People do
you.
weird shit. Like, you know,
It's insane. Imagine every aspect of your life publicized. Like, that's how, like, Gwen Stefani found out that her husband had been cheating on her with her babysitter,
like what
like,
the
through
fuck?
paparazzi
Yeah,
photos. That's so awful. Imagine being, like, the last person to sort of find out.
yeah,
Because, like, celebrities don't read, like, like, I'm assuming they don't read, like, these, like, trashy magazines and stuff. They probably hear when someone's like, by the way, like, her TMZ's talking shit about you. That's how most of the time they say they hear about this kind of drama and shit.
yeah,
And I'm like, imagine how terrible that must feel. That, like, like, at the minimum, thousands of people know about this awful thing before you do.
yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a crazy world we live in.
It's crazy.
Fucking insane. But yeah, I mean, on a lighter note, you graduated
Yeah,
like just now. So, congrats, man. How does it feel being a college graduate?
It's fine. I literally got sick like the next day, so I'm just like,
fucking hell.
Like I wasn't feeling well when you were leaving, remember? And then like,
oh, I thought that was just because you were so depressed that I was gone.
No. I guess
wow,
why,
bitch. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Day, right? I got so sick.
Yeah, maybe. Or like maybe your body was just like, oh shit, she's not gonna have schoolwork to stress over for a while. What are we supposed to do? And it just freaked out.
I think like all the stress is just like being released through my nose, you know.
Yeah, it's just like, where the fuck do it? Well, better than through your ass.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god, but yeah, I went to Florence for Sophie's graduation, and it was honestly one of the funnest times I'd ever had. Like it was such a great weekend. It was such a great weekend. I really enjoyed myself, and a lot of weird shit happened.
Friday was a roller coaster.
Friday alone was a fucking roller coaster. I mean, we don't really have much else to talk about, so we can talk about this because I still think it's pretty fucking weird and interesting. Like, it doesn't have to be, like, personalized, but it's pretty, like, where do we begin from?
Well, it all started...
It all started 3 years ago when I got to university.
I changed it 5 times, and then I moved
to
like 5 different apartments, and then I realized Florence wasn't for me. No, I'm kidding.
I realize that Italy is a lot of work, but I love it.
Yeah. No, but like from the morning, pretty much it was crazy. Like.
Yeah, I mean.
And then.
Well, we got. I'm trying to think. We got sandwiches. That was insane.
Okay, yeah, no, because first I picked up my flower crown, and then I went. The train station, and then we got sandwiches. We ate. Everything was fine, normal, fine and fucking dandy. Oh yeah, first at the ceremony, one of the teachers, he was weird as hell.
Oh god, he was so creepy and gross.
He did like to other students, but like he's always been creepy to other students and stuff. And that on stage just proved to me that he's a creep.
Yeah, like, I mean, I just, like, seen this guy, and basically, so, like, in Italy, everyone does, like, the kissing on the cheek thing, and so as soon as the students went up to, like, get their diplomas, they did that with him, like, mainly, like, the female students, because it's, like, more common between, like, females, and even, like, I think some guys did it, too, didn't they?
I mean,
I think some did.
They just shook hands. Yeah, some
also, what was with, like, the bro hug that he did with some of them? It was, like, this, like, 50-year-old man doing, like, a bro hug. With some of them, I was like, dude, calm down. But yeah, with the girls, like, it was really creepy, because when he went to take the pictures with them, he kissed them, like, before they left. And one girl, he kissed the back of her head.
Lower back. Yeah.
Dude, that was so bad. It was so gross.
So weird.
He was...
And, like, one
he was fucking weird.
I'm sorry I keep interrupting. But it's so, like, one...
No worries.
Like, she literally, like, didn't want to even take a photo with him. You saw.
Was she the one who just, like, looked angry? Like, she was just not happy going up?
She had, like, a red dress.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know which one.
But, like, she was just, she was just kind of awkwardly, like, going to, like, wanting to go back, and he started talking to her, and then it was weird. Like,
he seemed too chummy with the girls.
Yeah, and then there was,
yeah,
like, at school, like, my friend was telling me how he would tell her that she's a beautiful, independent black woman when she's not even black, like, literally.
What?
Yeah. Wait, I didn't tell you that?
That's so bad. No, I think you did. Was she the Indian girl?
Yeah. But she's not a black
that's
woman.
so
also, like,
bad. She's not a black woman.
Independent black woman? Like, what the fuck are you
I'm sorry, are other black women dependent and ugly? Like
what? Why are you
excuse me? Like, personally, I feel like the proportion of, like, attractive black people is much higher than, like, the proportion of attractive white people. True. I don't know why. They just, like, their facial symmetry and facial features are so much better developed in a general sense. I'm not saying, like, all white people are ugly. Oh my god, they have such good skin. I mean, I'm sure that they have, like, acne and shit, but I I don't understand why people can be racist and think having darker skin is ugly. All skin colors are beautiful.
Exactly.
Sorry. Anyway,
And he's the
love
teacher
yourself.
that was to one of the Chinese girls. He was like, and don't tell your people that I'm nice to you. I don't want more of you coming
Oh
here.
my god.
Like, who the fuck
Oh my god,
says
dude.
that shit?
I said that, I told my roommate that, because I was like, I could not stop thinking about this. And like, fucking, just,
What did she say?
what? She was speechless.
Yeah,
She didn't know what to say, because it's so ridiculous. Don't tell your people, because, oh, it's so disgusting. It is so disgusting.
That he said this, like, they weren't alone in, like, my friend heard it, you know what I mean? They weren't alone in the classroom. You know what I mean?
That's awful.
Like,
the fact that he has no shame.
So what does he say when no one is there? You know, even this girl Claudia. I'm sorry. Hello.
Hello.
She's like not like the most accepting. I mean, she can be not that accepting, right? But even she was shocked.
Yeah.
And I was like, if she's shocked, dude.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like unrelated, but sometimes Italians are kind of ignorant about certain topics.
Yeah.
It's a little weird to me almost, because I'm like, this is supposed to be like quote unquote like the West, you know? Yeah.
Proud.
But yeah, so that was one part of the day. What was the other weird part?
We had dinner at this pizza
Oh
place,
yeah,
and then we were sharing,
which was really nice.
Yeah, which was nice.
It was really nice. They brought Sophie a fucking... Well, first we ordered. Sophie literally said, due salame. She said due. Yeah, she said 2 of, like, the spicy salami pizza.
Yeah.
2, okay? Everyone heard her. And we were, like, sharing a table, like you said, with this, like, other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how, like, the restaurant worked. And so they brought 1 heart-shaped pizza and put, like, an empty plate in front of me. And so we were all just kind of like, oh my god, why is that like a heart-shaped pizza? That's so cute. But then Sophie was like, wait, where's your pizza?
Yeah.
Why did they put like an empty plate in front of you? And then I told the guy, and he looked so panicked. I was like, hey, the other pizza. He's like, oh. Yeah, he was really cute. But he was so panicked, and he was like, oh, allora, okay. And then he brought me another heart-shaped pizza. Yeah. And then what happened, like, the guy, like, who was sitting with us was like, what did he say?
He was like, why'd you guys get heart-shaped pizzas or something?
Yeah, he was like, oh, like, how come you get, like, a heart-shaped pizza? And, like, and I was like, oh, she just graduated, so maybe that's why. Yeah. And then he kept bringing it up, and, okay, I don't know, I mentioned the fact that you graduated again, because, like, I thought that maybe he didn't hear you, because, like, the polite thing was, even if you don't give a shit, the polite thing would be...
Like,
congratulations.
But
and I didn't think that he was rude. Yeah.
My friend of 10 plus years doesn't even want to congratulate me, so what can I expect from a stranger, you know?
Dude, but literally all the Italians were like turning around and saying congratulations to you.
So sweet.
It was so cute. It was
maybe, like,
so adorable.
In Toronto, it's normal to graduate. I don't know. Not that it's not normal to graduate in Italy.
No one in Italy graduates.
But I feel like here it's such a big deal. Like, when I told my family that people thought it was weird that my parents weren't there. Not people, my friends thought it was weird that my parents weren't there. I was like, what the hell? We didn't even go to your brother's graduation. What are you talking about? Like, why is that weird? And I was like, yeah, it's not weird for me. It's normal. But I guess for them, it's like their whole family and their dog has to come, you know? Which is totally fine.
This one girl did fucking bring her dog.
She's so funny.
That was ridiculous.
But yeah, this guy was strange. But the funny thing is, we all ordered the same, like, pizza. And and none of us asked for each other's names. Like, I mean, we didn't ask
was
him
so
for his
funny.
name, and he didn't ask us for our names, which was
but it was, that's the thing, it was such a nice dinner. Like, we were all like laughing and just chatting, and it was so casual. I started fucking talking about Shrek at one point, Shrek 2 to be specific.
Of course you did.
And I can't even remember the context of it. I just remember I was talking about Shrek.
Yeah, she was talking about the fucking gingerbread man scene. I don't even know why.
Oh yeah, when they pour the foam on him. Oh, we were talking about like people from Montreal. I was saying they could pour the gravy poutine on them like they did with the... I can't believe I'm saying this story for a third time. Like pouring the hot gravy on him. But it was so funny. And then like... we started talking about this, like, thing about Oh, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm feeling nostalgic about the 60s, the 1260s, the good old Mongolian conquest. And then something happened, and it was like we're all related to Genghis Khan to like some extent, like
Oh
genetically
yeah, that was
speaking.
just. I don't want to remember that.
Yeah, and he
But
went, "Oh, but I know like my whole entire family is from like originally from China. Um so like I know that I'm not related,
yeah.
so there won't be any
So
incest." And then you and me we just kind of went quiet because we were like, "What? What do
dead
you
ass.
mean? Like
There
what do you
was
think
a
was going to
minute of
happen?"
silence. Like
It
at
was
least
like
30 seconds of silence.
it was in I mean, it felt like an eternity because it was just kind of
Yeah.
like, what did you mean by that? And to this day I still don't know what he meant by that. Like, what? But then the rest of the evening was so casual. We said goodbye to the guy, then we met up with your friends,
Yeah.
and I had a really shitty cocktail that just tasted straight up like
Oh yeah.
Worcestershire
I'm
sauce.
sorry. It was a very
I
strong
could
umami
literally
from our
pronounce
other
it.
episode.
Yeah, I tried it, guys. We did a callback to that episode, and
Yeah.
it was so bad. It just tasted like it wasn't like the alcohol was too strong, the flavor was just awful. And the aftertaste did not leave. I literally only had like maybe like 2/5 of it. That's a really specific number, but yeah. And
Yeah.
then
It's. He didn't lie. It's strong. Like.
it's strong, but it's also crap.
But like
And then
when he
yeah.
told me it's strong, like I think in my brain I was just like, now I have to drink it.
Yeah.
But to me, it
I
didn't
felt
seem
like
that
that's also
bad.
what I
Like it
had
was
to
strong,
do.
but I didn't feel like, oh, this is
But
disgusting.
remember when you smelt mine, you were like, "Oh, this tastes
Yeah,
like this smells really, really
yeah,
like Worcestershire." It just
yeah.
tasted
Yours
like I was
was,
drinking meat marinade, which was
yeah,
gross. But yeah, then what happened? Then we went to like,
yeah,
then we met up with some of your other friends at this like Irish pub or whatever. And that's like when we saw these like remember like the weird tourists who were like, "Oh, do these hats mean that you just got married?"
yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
And
And
he was
then yeah,
like,
you told. Yeah.
No, tell it, tell it."
Wait, which one? In the bar?
Oh, the one where it's like, "Oh, it's against my
Oh
religion."
yeah. Okay. So basically, we were all sitting like me, Sarah, and like a couple of our friends who also graduated,
Yeah.
and this guy is like, "Is this a bachelorette party?" He said that,
Yeah.
and then like, so did one of you just get married or something? And then, or is one of
Yeah.
you getting married tomorrow? And then Sarah
Yeah, yeah.
we were also already getting up. So Sarah just like stands there and
Yeah.
looks at him and she's like, no, and he's like,
Tomorrow morning.
yeah, does this mean you can have sex with someone else like before the ceremony or some shit?
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so this is your last night,
your
like
last night
to have sex with someone else?"
Yeah, and then Sarah's like, that's against my religion. And he's like,
He dead ass goes, "Oh, in another life then," and I go, "Still against my religion." And he fuck, he fucking has the audacity to say, "Oh, come on," as I'm like walking out of the bar, and I'm
dude,
just like,
but
"What
his
was
face,
that?"
I will never forget it.
You know, I didn't see his face.
Dude, his face when he was asking you this, I will never forget. He was like his eyes were like half closed, his head was like tilted.
I was
upwards,
kind of
like,
looking
yeah,
into the
I'm
mirror. I was like, I need to avoid eye contact with this man to indicate I do not want to engage in conversation with you. But I don't know why. A part of me was like, but I mean, that's like pretty much it. And then we had like a really bizarre interaction with like a British man. That was,
Okay,
oh,
so say it.
yes, please.
This is so
I
bad.
feel it disgusting coming out of my mouth.
Okay, so basically, we after the bar we went to this other place and then we just saw like some friends there, like some
Yeah.
random people.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, like we said bye. We're like, okay, we're gonna go now. And then we go, and then I see this guy standing on one side of the street, and we were walking on the other side. And I'm like, okay, this guy's weird because he was just talking to another couple. And then
Yeah.
he's just
And I
like,
didn't
and then we
see
started
this.
walking.
Like, I didn't
Yeah.
know this.
And then from the corner of my eye, I see that he's walking diagonally right behind us. And I'm like, Sarah, this guy's
Shit.
following us. Or something. Like, he's walking right behind us. Because he was, like, close behind us.
Yeah.
And then he...
And I didn't even
overtook
notice
us,
it
like,
first.
After a while. Yeah. The
Yeah.
thing is, I don't know why. I think I'm just so cautious of this shit now. Well, I hope.
I mean, I usually am, but I don't know. Like, it was so crazy, man. I was like, holy shit, I need to pay attention much more. And, like, I don't know, it was like you were really smart because at one point you were like, stop, like, let's let him overtake us so we can be behind him.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
then he
exactly.
did the same thing.
Yeah, later, yeah. So
Yeah.
later we were walking and he already was on the other side and he was standing like a bit in front after the bridge.
Yeah.
And then we were walking and then he stopped us. He's like, hey guys, can you tell me where the square of Santo Spirito is? He was actually standing on the street of Santo Spirito. Like, if he went to the right, he would go on that street.
Yeah. And
So
he had his, like,
"Tell me where
phone
the
out.
square is." Yeah, he had his phone out.
Remember? He was, like,
So
looking into
we're
his
like,
phone.
okay. Yeah. So we're like, come with us, because we're, like, I live right next to that square, you know, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we're walking, and he's like, okay, and he's asking us questions, like, does this mean you just got married? And then
Oh,
I'm just like,
Lord.
no, it doesn't.
No!
Like, yeah, I have a wedding tomorrow, like,
Yeah.
in some, like, I don't know, where the fuck.
Yeah,
And
it was like a
we're
weird
walking along,
town.
and he's like, yeah, he's like, are you guys drunk? Are you guys, like, wasted? And
Yeah,
we're like,
which
no,
was
we're
so
not. He's like,
weird.
how come you just graduated? Like, why aren't you, like, wasted? Because this is not
Oh,
London, you
God.
motherfucker. You know? And then he's like,
Yeah, you
I'm
motherfucker.
And I'm like, no,
And he
you're
didn't
not.
seem wasted
You're
at
not
all.
wasted.
He seemed like
He
maybe
didn't
tipsy
he
at
seemed
most.
sober. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, like, yeah, so we're walking and then he starts, like, we just have, like, small talk and then we stop, right? And I'm like, here it is, here's a square, you know, like, be on your way, good fella. You know?
Yeah.
And he's like, how old are you guys?
Oh, God.
And
It was just like...
So it's like 20, I'm 21, and I'm like, oh yeah, he asked, like, where we're from first.
Yeah, he was like, oh, where are you from? Like, this was while we were walking to Santo Spirito.
Yeah. And then he was like, so when we arrived, he was like, so how old are you guys? And Sarah's like, I'm 21. And I'm like, yeah, I'm 21 too. And he's like, so do you have boyfriends?
Oh, God.
And, like, a part of me was like, don't fucking do it, bro.
I don't know why I said, no, I don't. You did.
A part of me...
I should have lied. I lied
like,
to the other guy. I told him I was getting married tomorrow morning.
Yeah. I don't know. But a part of me was like, a part of me wanted to be like, yeah, we're a lesbian couple. But then I was like, maybe he's into that. So, like, no. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
So, like,
one thing. Honestly, I genuinely think that he was hoping that the two of us, being young girls who just graduated, would be really fucking drunk and would want to engage in a ménage à trois with him. I genuinely think that because of how he... A ménage à deux? But I genuinely think that's what he was going for, which also ties into... we'll continue the story.
Yeah. So then he's like... When I think when he asked how old are you, and then we have a boyfriend, I fucking stepped the fuck back, dude. I was like, are you kidding this bitch?
Yeah. And then, you were like, fuck
and
no.
Like, no. And then I was like, and then I just like squinted my eyes and I.
And we didn't know how to leave the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, that was a very like hesitant no, like, and I'm like,
yeah. It's
a weird question to ask, sir. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't say sir, but. And then he's like,
sir,
like, are you like so high maintenance that like you can't have a boyfriend or something like that?
Which was ridiculous.
First of all, I'm not high maintenance at all. Just throwing that out
also,
there. Also,
bitch, I'm too gay to have a boyfriend. I should have honestly just said that.
Apparently, I sound too disinterested to have a boyfriend because.
Oh my god.
Anyway. So, and then he proceeds to. Kiss us on the cheek, but not the Italian way. Not like
not like the
allora,
goodbye.
you know?
Not like
no.
Yeah.
Not allora, bro. There's no allora here, okay? There's no un bacio. No, not un bacio. Fucking.
Oh my god!
Like his lips touched.
It was so
gross. And it's wet. Okay.
It was so terrible. Basically, how it happened was, I feel this guy's hand at the back of my head, and for an instant, I'm like...
touched our fucking face, dude. Okay.
All I could think is... I'm joking. He put... he put his hand on the back of my head. And for an instant, the only thing that was going through my mind is, oh no, he's gonna go for my lips. Because that's a weird thing to do. And then when he went for my cheek, the moment he did that and turned towards Sophia, I was like, oh no, he's gonna kiss her on the lips. Cause, like, with this, usually, like, when there's two girls, a guy's usually like, I'm gonna be nice to both of them, so in case the one I want rejects me, I can go after the second one, you know? And then but before this, he was like, what are you guys doing for the next couple of days?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, like he was expecting something, and I was like, okay, turn them off, make them know that like you're a nerd and probably a virgin.
Yeah, you're, like,
You know,
studying.
I was like, I'm studying. And you're like packing and leaving. Like over the next few days, I will be both packing and leaving, like continuously. But it was so disgusting. Like, it's all we could think about, like going up to your apartment. Like we didn't even go first. We walked to like the end of the road.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, Sarah was straight away in case, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just small things.
Yeah, like it was creepy.
Yeah. So
it was so like, it was so awful.
What if he's standing there still? Yeah, and then he was like,
and then you saw him, like, after he dropped me off at the... Yeah, he wanted to buy a cigarette off me.
This was fucking surreal, dude.
Oh my god.
Basically, I dropped her off at the train station. It was raining, and then I left, and I was walking... Literally the timing, and I look and I see like a bunch of like freaking white people, right? In their dresses and their fucking umbrellas, and then I'm like, oh, what's happening here? Because it was like a bunch of them, and I look to the left. It was literally in the same place we saw him before, but a bit. Like,
oh my god!
I look to the left, and it's him with that same fucking smug look on his fucking face.
Jesus.
The same grin that when he said, "You guys are babies," the exact same face, dude. I'm not.
Yeah,
kidding, like,
when we said we're 21, he was like, "Oh, babies." It was insane. It was so insane.
I look. He was even standing the same way. He had like a blue suit on. I look and I was like, "Fuck!" And I just like. I put my hood on and I was just like,
dude, it's like
him. Not that he wouldn't even notice me or recognize me, but a part of me had the urge to just go up to him and be like, "Hey man, what's up?" and slap him in the face. Unfortunately,
oh my god, that would have been so funny. Like if I was there with you, that would have been a funny thing to do. Like the two of us, like one at each cheek. But it was funny because it was such a perfect weekend. But then again, these like weird ass things happen, and like our dads have like a date this coming week as well, so that's something to look forward to.
My mom, like, I called her and she was like, "Was it Sarah's dad that called, like, your dad?" And I was like, "Oh my god, actually, Sarah told me." And I was like,
"What did she say?"
And she was like, "Yeah, they're meeting next week, bro." And I'm like,
"Oh my god,
like,
our dads have a date,
right?" And I'm like, and mom was like, "Yeah, I don't think they talked for a while, but you know." He probably said, like, that your dad probably still has his number and shit, you know?
Yeah.
He probably said, like, this is Sam, like...
Mr. Sam.
Yeah, my mom mentioned it.
That's so funny, but yeah. It was a fun weekend. It was crazy shit happened.
It was fun.
It was great,
honest, like,
honestly.
These stories... because look, we ended up safe and fine, right? Like, it was...
Yeah, exactly.
It's sad, but it's also a funny story to tell.
Yeah, it's like, because it's ridiculous. You're like, what? Who in the right mind thinks these are okay things to say?
Yeah, but then again, like that guy that I told you, like in the cafe, the one that sells shit.
Yeah.
Like, who just like randomly kissed me and my friend on the cheek as well? Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Like, and why don't we like?
It's so bizarre
or something.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's like honestly,
like,
you know we should.
Balls, you know.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like, it just goes to show that in certain situations you shouldn't worry about like, oh, will I seem like a bitch? It's just kind of like, hey, do you feel unsafe? Then take precautions to feel safe. Exactly. I guess, you know, out of all these like funny and like relatively creepy stories, life lessons are learned, kids. So yeah, this has been a pretty deep like episode of Bob Ross. So so yeah, but this was actually a pretty serious episode at the beginning, and then we just kind of like chilled out and went back to the kind of same bullshit ass nonsense that the people know and love. regular programming. And thank you for listening to OK Martini. This has been Sarah and Sophia and some like really creepy tourists from Florence. And stay tuned for more.